Hey guys, Jinxed here with another Red Refight guide. We've made it through almost all the generations, and if you're seeing this, that means that there is a new generation at the top of the mountain. The easiest way to go through this is to check out and scout his team, so that we know exactly what to bring and we can get through it as efficiently and quickly as possible with the best strategy possible. This is the best way to make the most out of your Richest Charm in this fight. Because he pays so well, you want to make sure you're using 100% Richest Charm, but you don't want to waste out on time by trying to use like an all-comers team of 6 Pokemon where you're having to like swap and go through a difficult battle like that. So we're going to run up the mountain, see what team he's got, and I'll show you guys what we're going to do to beat it. Make sure you bring a level 100 Pokemon on your way up the mountain, or at least like level 70 or so, just so that you can repel on your way up, but not something too tough so that you know you're going to get one hit knocked out when you get to the top of the mountain, and you can come down, grab the thing you need, and get right back up to the fight. Alright, let's see what team he's got this week. Alright, so we see Serperior leading, which means it's his Gen 5 team. Now this is one of those teams with a rotating lead, however it's a pretty straightforward one, and you'll see that the strategy is pretty consistent for this team. Now unfortunately this team is a little bit more complicated to make and a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but it does run really smoothly. I don't know how cheap you could go with these, but luckily they are pretty useful outside of just this fight. With the raids coming up, I think Flygon's going to be a really good choice to do a lot of damage to a lot of the raids. And Jellicent's always a good tank with Water Absorb and like Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that. He's going to be a really good option as well. This Blissey is super useful if you're doing Elite 4 reruns. It's the exact same Blissey we use for the strategy for that. I'll start with the Blissey. You're going to want a bold Blissey with 252 HP and 252 defense. Pretty standard build. You're going to want max HP and defenses, and speed doesn't really matter for this. All Blissey's really here for is to make the AI bring out Emboar. Because it's a fighting type, it's gonna want to hit Blissey with a superpower, and due to the way the AI works, when it sees a normal type, pretty much it'll always bring out its fighting type to hit it. So we're gonna lead with Blissey in hopes that Emboar comes out, and Emboar should come out in 5 out of 6 of the leads, and then there's going to be one alternate lead just if we see Excadrill. So all Blissey is going to be doing is attempting that Emboar to come in and then stealth rocking hopefully before that. If it doesn't get its rocks off, it's really not a big deal. It's pretty much just there to pull the Emboar in. Once that Emboar does come in, that's when we're going to go into Jellicent. Now Jellicent is our Trick user. So Trick is going to swap our current item with the opponent's item. So we're going to bring a Choice Scarf on Jellicent so that we can put a Choice Scarf on the Emboar as it comes in. That's going to lock it into an attack. When you hard swap from Blissey to Jellicent, Emboar is going to use Superpower. However, that will not affect Jellicent because it's a fighting move into a Ghost type. Because Jellicent's also Water type, the next attack Emboar will use is Thunder Punch. When he uses Thunder Punch, that's when you're going to use your Trick to choice Thunder Punch onto him, and then we can swap into our Flygon. Now the moveset on Jellicent outside of Trick is very important. Most importantly, this Ice Beam. I did a lot of testing with it to see if the moveset's important, and if you don't have Ice Beam, he'll bring in Hydreigon, and that'll really mess up the strategy. So make sure you have this moveset, especially it seems like Ice Beam is the most important to make sure it stays on Emboar and doesn't hard swap into Hydreigon. Shockwave's also useful just to waste turns if you see Excadrill come in. We don't want to hurt it, because once you start doing damage to them, you start messing with their AI system and the calculations might change. So Shockwave's nice just to waste turns as you let Excadrill knock out your Jellicent. I'll show you that strategy a little bit more in depth when we get up the mountain. As for nature, because you're going to need to tank a Thunder Punch, you're going to want pretty decent defenses. So you're going to want bold nature is ideal, but plus defense nature of any kind should work. And for EVs, you're going to want 80 HP EV, 240 defense EV, and 190 special defense EV. I don't exactly know why it's this EV spread, because he's not taking a special defense hit. I don't know if it's to make sure the AI stays on Emboar maybe, but based on the content creator that I pulled this from on Bilibili, Ice Bear Fantasy Starry Sky is the Google Translate translation. This is what they seem to run, and I'm just copying theirs exactly as it seemed like whenever I messed with the EVs or the moveset, the AI did get a little bit weird and wouldn't stay in Emboar. So I do recommend just keeping your EVs as this. If you want to manipulate them and try them out with some different builds, let me know how it works out for you in the comments below, because I'm really curious how we can push this, or even take a standard comp Jellicent and see if it works for this as well. The IVs we need on this, again, just kind of maxing that HP and defense and special defense. I don't think the speed actually matters on this one. However, you do want to max your HP, defense, and special defense. Again, if you want to test it out and try like level 25 IV and see if that works, all he really needs to do is tank a hit from Emboar, a Thunder Punch. However, the AI can get a little bit weird if the numbers change, so just keep that in mind when breeding your own. The last thing we need is a Flygon. This is going to be our sweeper for this set. You're going to need Adamant Nature. You're going to want to go all attack and speed EV. Now, in the content creator's recommendation, they said to go 160 HP, 252 attack, and 98 speed. I'm not sure exactly why, as I haven't had any problems in my own testing. However, if you do run into any problems, you can try those numbers out. I'll put them on the screen for you so you can reference them back later. As for IVs, it was recommended to go 31 straight across the board. However, it does seem like it works with 20 or 25 plus in your 3 defenses and 31 on your attack and speed IVs. As for moveset, you're going to want Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Fire Punch. You're going to use Dragon Dance 3 times to buff yourself up, and then you're going to be choosing Earthquake, Dragon Claw, or Fire Punch, depending on what you're facing against. Alright, so with that, that's the whole team. Now let's go see it in action. Alright, so we got the Samurott lead. So we're going to Stealth Rock. He's going to go into Emboar, and majority of the time, he's just going to choose Superpower. So we're going to swap into Jellicent because Superpower won't hurt him. Being a ghost type, he is immune to it. Okay, so now we're going to Trick. He's going to Wild Charge us. That's why you need to be a little bulky so you can tank the Wild Charge. We're going to put that Choice Scarf on him. And then we're just going to Hard Swap onto Flygon. Now he's just going to keep Wild Charging. So from here, we're going to use Dragon Dance 3 times. And then we're just going to sweep from there. You can set up a sub if you want during your setup, just in case he hits you with a crit. However, that's a pretty low chance, so I don't usually bother with it, since my Flygon just has Fire Punch already, just for like comp builds. But if you want to be more safe on this run, you can swap Fire Punch, put sub on him. Super easy setup and super easy to finish it out. There is some times where I've been testing a strategy over and over, and there's been some times where Emboar will, for some unknown reason, use Flare Blitz on Blissey. So if that happens, you might have to reset, because when you hard swap into Jellicent, it'll be too damaged to take the Wild Charge hit. So if that happens to you, I don't know exactly why, but it does seem to be like a low % chance of thing that could happen. So just be aware of that. So if Emboar comes in first and uses Roar, just make sure you just immediately hard swap in to Jellicent, and then you'll do your normal setup from there. Alright, let's try this Pikachu lead. So this is where we're going to do the Choice Band on Blissey. And instead of rocks, we are going to trick the Choice Band on the Thunderbolt. Once you take the Light Ball off of Pikachu, he will actually just swap into Emboar. If you don't take the Light Ball off of him, he'll just keep Thunderbolting. So now we're just going to keep going with our hard swap over to Jellicent, and the strategy will play out as normal. So this is one small variation on the Pikachu lead. So from here, we're just going to do our normal setup, now that we got him locked into Wild Charge, and we'll sweep from here. So with that, I'll head back down and keep coming up until I get this Excadrill lead.
2 hours later.
Okay, so we got the Excadrill lead. So we're just going to start normally, just by setting up rocks with Blissey. We're basically just wasting a turn with Blissey. However, we're not doing it to pull in Emboar. We need to make sure Blissey faints, because when Emboar comes in later, he'll use Roar right away. And if you set up your Flygon, and then you get roared out, it's going to mess up your sweep. So we go into Jellicent, and we're going to trick here. We want to put the Choice Scarf on Excadrill to lock him into his Earthquake. You don't want to hard swap into Flygon. If you do, when Emboar comes in, he can roar you, and you'll go back to Jellicent. So this is why we have Shockwave. It won't do any damage to Excadrill. And now we can go into Flygon, and we can start setting up. So we're going to use 3 Dragon Dances. And now that we're set up with our +3, we can just sweep the team. So from here, we're just going to choose whatever super effective attack we have available. You can set up a sub also if you want to, but you don't really need to, because the only thing that'll mess it up from here is if he crits, so hopefully he doesn't crit, but like I said, set up a sub if you're worried about that. Alright, that's at Emboar, and again, since everybody's knocked out, we don't get swapped. If you bring a Rock Climber, make sure you put your Rock Climber in before your Flygon. You want to make sure your Rock Climber goes down, because if you have any Rock Climbing friend with you, you need that thing to die before Emboar comes in. Alright, so that's all the leads covered. If this video helped you out, give it a like and consider subscribing for more weekly PokeMMO content. I make a new video every Friday, so I'll see you guys next week with another video. Thanks for watching.